Okay, so this should be an example for you guys on how to make a bar graph in Excel. I don't think the PowerPoint is always like the easiest way to understand where to click and everything, so I thought I'd post this video for you guys. So I already have all of my data for this experiment put into this Excel graph. So I have my 3 different treatment groups, and then I have my replicates listed as well. And then I relist the names of my treatments, and then over here I put the 2 things I need to calculate for that, which is the average or the mean number of colonies grown, and then also the standard deviation, which we also need to calculate for the error bars. So I already have the data points collected, so now I need to calculate the means. So I can have Excel do this for me. So the way you can do that is by typing the formula. So here I'm going to type equals and then average, and then open up your parentheses, and then you're just going to drag and select the numbers you want to calculate the average of. So for the average of the replicates for 15 microliters, I want to select those 4, because I had 4 replicates, and then close the parentheses and press enter, and it automatically does that average for me. I'm going to do it again for my second treatment group. And then do it a third time for the third treatment. So equals, type out average, open up the parentheses, and then you can see here one of the plates for this treatment was contaminated, so I'm not going to want to include that in the average. And Excel will know that because it's not a number, it won't calculate it. So it'll do the average correctly. So select the groups, close parentheses, and press enter. Great. So now we also need to calculate standard deviation. So it's a very similar idea. So I can tell Excel to calculate it for me. So equals, and then the formula for standard deviation in this is STDEV. Open up your parentheses, and then you're going to select the same 4 cells for that. Close your parentheses, enter. And then we're going to do it 2 more times. So equals STDEV, open the parentheses, select your cells, close your parentheses, enter. And then again for this one, this one doesn't have a number in it, so Excel is going to know not to calculate that in the standard deviation. And there we go. So now I want to make a bar graph out of this. So the reason why I tell you guys to rewrite the names of your treatment groups right here above the average is because if we select the names of those treatment groups and the means below it, Excel will automatically label the bars for us. So you're going to select the names of the treatment groups and the 3 means. We're not going to select the standard deviations. And then we're going to click Insert up in this top left corner. And then we're going to go under Charts. So I click the one that looks like a bar graph, and then you're just going to click this first option. And it's automatically going to pop up. And then we can see that the averages are all 3 bars there. And then they also have the appropriate titles for the treatment group. So now the first step we should do is add the error bars, and the error bars should represent the standard deviation. So now you're going to go under Add Chart Element up in the top left corner, and there should be a little drop down tab, and then there's an option that says error bars. Just hover over that, and at the bottom it says More Error Bars Options, and we're going to click that. So now we have this little tab on the right, and there's some different options there. You're going to want to select this one that looks like a little bar chart right there, and at the very bottom we can click Custom and then click Specify Value, and this little table is going to pop up. You're going to click whatever little icon is right here to select the cells. So we're going to select all 3 of our standard deviations for our 3 bars, enter, and then we're going to click the same for the negative and select all 3. And the positive and negative just means that's going to make error bars that go above and below our mean. So now that I have them selected, I'm just going to press OK, and they should automatically just go up onto our little graph there. And I can tell that they're correct because the standard deviation is only 1.26 for this first one, so it's a smaller error bar than for the second treatment group that had a lot larger of a standard deviation. So they went in there correctly. The last thing that we need to do for the graph is label everything. So the chart title, so you can double click on this, and then this should be something descriptive about the experiment. So you can write, for this one I was seeing how antibiotic amounts affect bacterial colony growth. It can be something like that. It tells me a little bit about, what you were testing, so antibiotic, and then colony growth. So that was, for my example, so that's the title part of it. And then if I double click on my graph again, I'm also going to want to add another chart element up in the top left, and that's going to be our axes titles. So I'm going to click primary horizontal. I'm going to get that to disappear. And here I'm going to tell whoever's reading this graph what 15, 25, and 35 microliters are. So I'm going to put this is the amount of antibiotic added to plates, and then you're going to want to put your units, right? So even though I have it listed, I'm going to just still put that there. And then I'm going to go back up to add chart element in the top left corner, click axes title, and click vertical. And I'm going to do the same thing because it just has the numbers listed, but nobody knows what that means just by looking at those numbers. So I'm going to put mean number of colonies grown. So then people know, like, oh, if I look at this bar, this is about like 27 colonies grown, and that's the average, right? So there. And then, so now everything's labeled. We have the error bars and everything, so this can get submitted along with the table. Everything's labeled on the table. And then I'm just going to show you a few things that you might need to troubleshoot. So for the groups that are graphing percentages, let me go over to this example where this one has it listed as a percentage. So if I select the titles of these three treatments, which are 15, 25, and 35%, and their averages, go into insert and tell it to create a chart, it's going to do something funky because it doesn't, it's thinking that the names of the treatment is a number, or like isn't like the title of it, because they're also numbers. So it's going to make 6 different bars, and that's not what we want. So the way I would recommend to fix this is to just rewrite these and just write out the word percentage or percent. I don't know why I did that. So then when you go to make your chart, it's going to automatically label those bars again. So hopefully this helped everybody. If you have any other questions or run into any other errors, you can always show up to my office hours or send me an email.